Alright, welcome to Fabrication. This is Cool Performance. This video is going to be a little different than normal. Um, I've spent quite some time on deliberating what would be fun to do. And although, say, giving away a turbocharger to celebrate, hitting 10.4 thousand followers, the problem with the turbocharger is my turbocharger market is a really niche market. So it doesn't really, you know, how do you put it, encompass a lot of people that could join this. So instead, I thought of a tool. And kind of want to make kind of fun. There's a lot of stuff out there on having to have certain quality types of tools, minimum, to do certain kinds of jobs. I have found that to not be true. What happens with the main thing, there are differences that when you are good at what you do, you can notice a difference in how equipment runs. But for someone just starting out or wanting to start out, that may be that tier of tool might be what they want to get, and that's keeping them from starting even learning a new skill. So I thought, what better thing to give away than a TIG welder? And the TIG welder that I got is not a expensive TIG welder by any means, but I'm going to do some videos with it showing, taking what I know and applying it to this machine. So part of this, the TIG welder, it's a 200 amp DC only machine, high frequency start, has pulse. It looks like the switch is on the torch, which is actually really nice depending on what you're doing, dragging a foot pedal around a cage. Although done it before, having the switch on the torch is pretty nice. So not only do we get TIG welder, I got filler rod, tungstens, cups, shielding gas lenses, and welding helmet. So all of that goes with this giveaway. There's two kinds of filler rod. There's ER70-2 and there's 309 stainless. Why 309 stainless? Because that covers a lot of stainless type welding, and if you are welding mild steel together, you can technically, by the book, use 309 or stainless to mild steel. 309 works. Technically, 304 to 304, you're supposed to use 308, but you can use 309. If you're a hobbyist and you're not doing some sanitary stuff, an exhaust in a car or a bracket, there's no code you have to follow to do that. So pretty much it's everything. Oh, and the regulator. So it comes to the regulator too. So it's everything you need minus gloves, coverings, because those have different sizes. I don't know what size your hands and body is. And your shielding gas bottle. I can't exactly take a shielding gas bottle and ship that across the US. So you will have to get your own argon shielding gas bottle. They are relatively inexpensive for a hobby level, hobby sized bottle. I run two of the largest 315s or 325s or 365s, I think, here, and then my backup is a little like 125 bottle that's sometimes I need. So how you're going to be able to win this? It's going to be really easy. You don't got to buy nothing. What I'm going to ask you to do is I need you to tag 2 people in this post, and you're going to need to repost to your story a video I'm going to select. Now you can do this once per day. If you do it multiple times per day, I will not add more into that count. So that's how that's going to work. So 1 post per day with the two tags. You don't have to retag the same people every day. Just repost per day. So if I'm going to check my thing, it shows up for 24 hours. see that something's been posted and the name's not currently listed for that day, you'll get added to the list. Selection will be done using a random name generator. Never used one of those before, but I know some people that have done this, and I'll probably have to ask them on how that works. But it will be completely random on who wins. I'm thinking that it's going to last about 3 weeks. Long enough to get quite a few people entered, short enough that we don't lose disinterest in the giveaway. So, next part of this video is going to be unboxing what we got. It's a regulator, filler rod, welding helmet, welder, 2 kinds of filler rods, and a welder is a 200 amp machine, can do 110 and 220. So if you don't have a plug for 220, don't worry, you can run 110. It is a lower max amperage that you can run on the 110, but again, it gets rid of reasons why you can't start doing this yourself. And that's what, it's all about. When I started out, I bought a TIG welder, a 185 precision, Lincoln Precision TIG, to build my own roll cage. I didn't buy it to do work for anybody, didn't have intentions on getting good at it. I had no idea what Instagram was. I don't even know if it was a thing yet. And over time of just doing things, I got considerably better at it. And I'm still getting better at it. If you win and you are local, I will teach you how to use the thing. My main job is welding and fabrication. My second job, which is now what takes up most of the time, is building turbochargers, but I have been a welder fabricator for a long time. I didn't get into doing this on purpose, kind of just fell into it and just continued to get good at it. The big thing that happened is as soon as I saw what other people could do, I wanted to be able to do that. And I have ran probably miles of welds that looked terrible. I still have chunks sitting over there. I just used to weld round pipe on flat surface over and over and over and over for hours. And that's how I got better at it. I would do that, and I would compare what my stuff looks like to what I am seeing online. There are a few people along the way that were able to also give me guidance. Joe Blackburn of Blackburn Fabrication, Fab Child, Archer Fabrications. Those are some of the big ones that have helped me out. As far as I'd make a weld, I'd share it with them, and they would tell me, slow down, speed up, hotter, colder, closer, farther, more filler, less filler, this filler, that filler. They were really helpful in being able to explain things in a way that made sense to me, that allowed me to take what I knew how to do, apply it better than what I was previously. And that's kind of what it's all about. It's you against you. When you're sitting down, the only reason that the stuff comes out poorly is because you're not good yet, and when it starts coming out better, it's because you are getting better. There's no excuses, no reasons, other than if you're not practicing, you don't get better at this. So I thought this would be a fantastic way to get somebody that's either wanted to weld and maybe their mindset is they have to have a nice machine to produce nice work, or they got to have nice tooling to go along with that machine to produce nice work. And instead, what that's doing is just prolonging that person getting into welding themselves. So instead, I'm going to take this very, very affordable machine, and we're going to make the welds look exactly the same as they do if it was my HTP unit or my Syncrowave unit. The big difference between say a very cost-effective machine and these other machines is duty cycle, meaning how long you can have the arc on for, and what I call when you turn the machine on, the machine turns on and functions right. So as a business, it's quite important that my machines always turn on. I have had them not turn on from name brand stuff, but the likelihood goes down substantially when they don't want to work. The other nice thing is if you buy from a local welding supply store a machine and it's a good welding supply store, such as my local one, Modesto Welding Products, if you have a issue with the machine that you bought from them, they have not once ever made it a pain to get that machine repaired. They go, a good welding shop is going to go above and beyond to try to help you. There are certainly conditions that occur where there's nothing that they can do about it, but good shops will try really hard to make sure you get back to welding and manufacturing or whatever your business model is with your machine. But for the hobby person, if they don't have the money to get into this stuff, because it was affordable but not like cheap, if that makes sense. So this is a chunk of money that could be spent somewhere else: bills, fuel, repairs on their vehicles. There's stuff like that they weren't, that might be keeping them also from, say, getting into this. Maybe they're a little bit worried about getting into it because maybe they have the mindset that maybe it's difficult because TIG is it's kind of viewed as a top tier style of welding. So I'm trying to remove all the reasons why anyone would not want to get into TIG welding. I like to help others. I'd absolutely not be where I'm at this point in time without the help from other welder fabricators out there that are substantially better than I am. And I want to make that very clear. I am always learning. I am always listening. I am always listening mainly to criticism. And I think a better way to look at it is I'm always looking for criticism. I thought of something earlier today. If you are, this is an analogy or whatever it's called, if you are the top person in the room, you're probably in the wrong room. If there's nothing for you to learn there, there's no one to tell you that you're doing something wrong, but they can't just tell you you're doing something wrong. That this is how you may want to go about it, right? They said a suggestion or the opportunity to show you another way to do something. Maybe your way is fine, but your way might run into problems sometimes. And this little tidbit of information that someone else might give you all of a sudden comes in handy in that situation. So there's always room for improvement, always room to learn. There is no point where there's not the next thing to get to. It's just welding cast aluminum to cast aluminum right now to change out the flange on a compressor cover. So it's easier for someone to install this turbocharger that I make. So like instances like that, it's not always going to be just the basics, 53, 56 plate to 53, 56 plate, or 60, 61 tube to 60, 61 tube. It's a lot of the time, as the better you get, the more challenging you want to make things. That way you improve yourself. But like I said, this is just an introduction video. We'll do the unboxing and going over it next, and then the video after that, I'm going to be using it. It also comes with tungstens. I forgot about that. I got a multi-mix pack of tungstens that way, so there's different ones to try. Pretty much it's an inverter machine. It should run the best on like serrated and lanthanated tungstens. Realistically, starting out, you're not going to be able to tell the single difference between any tungsten that you run. You're probably not going to tell much of a difference between any cup that you run. The only thing you'll be looking for is part gap, puddle size, and heat of the material, and trying to do two things with both your hands at the same time. Technically three with the switch. It'll become second nature pretty quick. So hopefully this is really fun. I hope a lot of people enter it. I said it seems like a decent machine. If it gives you problems, hopefully you learned something with it. I'm covering all the shipping. Hopefully you learned and built some cool stuff with it, and it's tiny enough that it's in a trash can. And then from there, maybe you do go buy something nicer, but you'll be jumping into something nicer without having to learn or worry about things, as far as you'll already be ahead when you get into a machine that has more features and more tools, instead of it being extremely confusing. This is a fairly basic machine, easy to start, it's not a scratch start, it's not lift arc, so you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. It does do stick welding as well. I might get out my stick rods and do a little bit of that for you as well, which is cool. I was just going to run some 332, 6011, and 718 stuff. Yeah, I think that's about wraps it up. Thanks for watching. Hope you get entered into this, and on the next video we're going to unbox everything.